I'm developing my homestead here in Ghana, and landscaping forms a big part of that development. I'm a huge fan of the ornamentals, flowers, trees, and beautiful hardscape. And so I've been slowly working on that aspect of the homestead alongside putting up brick and mortar infrastructure on the land. I want my plants to be well established by the time the homestead is ready to move into. But unfortunately, already nursed seedlings don't come cheap here in Ghana. And with the size of my landscaping project here on the homestead, it simply makes sense for me to try and grow as many of my plants as I possibly can myself from seeds to save a whole lot of money. So, on a recent trip back to Australia, I invested heavily in seeds of all sorts: flowers, trees, shrubs, grass, vegetables, fruit, the list goes on. But to embark on this exciting project of nursing the seeds or seedlings, I needed a garden potting shed or greenhouse, if you will, to use as a nursery. So that is what I did. So let's build a potting shed. By the way, hi, my name is Korewaa. My family and I moved to Ghana 2 years ago, and I'm currently developing my dream homestead here in Ghana. Kindly like this video now and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So I started off by discussing the project with my site manager. I explained what I wanted, and we marked out the location according to my overall plan for the homestead. In designing this potting shed, I took a lot of inspiration from different YouTubers here on YouTube and adjusted what they have done with their own sheds with my own requirements to make it fit what I am looking for. Shout out to ES and Vimman from DIY House and Farm. After setting out was done, the masons started the blockwork part of the shed. There will be two potting sheds here on the homestead. This first one will be the smallest of the two, and it will be the nursery purposely for ornamental plants only. The shrubs, the flowers, the trees, etc., will be nursed in this shed. And then I'll be building a much bigger potting shed in the very near future, purposely to grow food. Now, as you can see, we already have the farm going on here on the homestead where food is already in abundance. We also have a separate fruit orchard where I've already enjoyed my first harvest of guava fruit. If you would love a full farm tour here on the homestead, leave me a comment in the comment section below. On the other hand, if you would love to see a full tour of the landscaping done on the homestead to date, then let me know down below. It's team landscaping video versus team farm tour video, okay? Okay. Soon the blockwork stacked up higher and we had a solid frame on which the potting shed would be built. The floor was concreted. Initially, I was toying with the idea of just leaving the floor of the shed as is and simply filling it up with some gravel for drainage purposes because I recognize that there will be a lot of spillages from sand and water in nursing the seedlings. But in the end, I decided on a concreted floor. Then it was time for the carpentry work, which is the bulk of this build, to begin. I got a local carpenter in on this very rainy day and explained exactly what I was looking for. I had worked with his brother, who's also a carpenter, on the small apartment build, and so I was hoping he would be just as good. The next day, the materials required was delivered to site, and the guys got to work framing the potting shed. Now, as with each project I undertake here on the homestead, I am almost always around to make sure what I want is what is being done. I don't wait for them to finish a stage before I query work being done because I've found that here in Ghana, if you don't get involved at every stage, you will be doing a lot of rework, which can get very expensive, especially on projects such as this one that doesn't necessarily require a lot of high-end professionals. So the framing continued, and finally, it was time for the roof to be installed. The idea is to protect the seedlings from the harsh Ghana sun. However, the seedlings do need the sunlight to be able to grow, photosynthesis and all. And so, to achieve both protection and growth, we decided to use these transparent plasticky roofing sheets to allow for sunlight whilst minimizing direct heat. They installed the fascia board and rain gutter because it makes sense to harvest rainwater off the roof of this potting shed to irrigate the plant growing in this nursery. With the roofing all done, they began fixing the wire mesh all around the top part of the potting shed. As you know, it can get very hot here in Ghana, so I decided to leave the top part of the shed completely open for maximum airflow and close off the bottom half of the shed with the same roofing sheet used up above. With the mesh installed, it was then covered with mosquito netting to prevent any animals or insects from entering the shed. The roof was also extended in such a way that when it rains, not a single drop enters the shed. I also covered the extended roof with a plywood ceiling to prevent anything from crawling up the wall and into the shed. So, all in all, it was a well thought out plan. As the meshwork and plastic walls was partially done, we got the masons in once again to do some block partitions and the plastering work. They created the block work for what will become the stand for the workbench. And then they got to work plastering both the inside and exterior of the potting shed. The young men then finished off the walling of the shed, after which they created the shelving inside the shed and also installed the top of the workbench. So this is what it was looking like on the inside. With the structure all complete, it was time to beautify it inside and out. We cleared the immediate surrounding of the potting shed, laid down an anti-weed barrier, and spread some gravel over the area. We then coated the wooden part of the shed with a protective chemical to prevent insects like termites from attacking the wood, and then we gave the shed a lick of paint. I opted to go black and white. To complete the look, we brought in some flowers to plant around the potting shed to make it more inviting. And just like that, we had a potting shed ready to help me embark on a cost-effective planting spree for our landscaping efforts here on the homestead. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this potting shed or greenhouse. What do you like about it, or what would you do different if you were constructing your own? I have a second shed to build, so any positive suggestion is welcome. I would greatly appreciate it if you would kindly hit the like button on this video to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to request a landscaping video or a farm tour video. Subscribe to the channel and join me on this journey of developing a homestead here in Ghana. Catch you in the next.